All right. Let me move along. Vlad, I don't know if you're going to have much comments on this next one, but I do want to give a shout out to something that I thought was really, really good this week. Maybe my match of the week. So I'm jumping to NXT Deadline. We're doing a lot of stuff this week. We're doing a eclectic show, I would call it, where we're going all over the place, all around all the different shows this week. But this was on Saturday night, so there was NXT on Tuesday. And then there was NXT Deadline on Saturday. This was the 7th, yesterday, as we speak. So, funky storyline. I'm not going to play too much of it here. The link to the whole video is in the description below in our review, if you guys want to go watch it. But Nathan Frazer, he's had aspirations of singles glory, although he is the tag team champion. And I actually know someone who knows Nathan Frazer personally, and they've always asked me about what I think of him. I just never thought much of him. I never really, I thought he was a borderline guy, I'll be honest, especially with the promos and the backstage segments he's had with Axiom. But in ring, I always thought he was really good. So I'm going to highlight him as thinking that he really had a great night on this night. So he was in the Iron Survivor match, in the opening of the match. We'll talk about later what happened there. But he took a beating, and this is how he looks going into his match, his tag team title defense. So he's pulling double duties, all right? And they had a lot of faith in him to sell these injuries and make it look good. And he went out there and he did his best. So what happened? Let me see. All right, so here's a moment where he got suplex, or what do you call that? And he got dropped on his back, so his ribs are all taped up, and he kicked out. So he showed a lot of heart, and I think he did a really good job with the psychology of this match. And there's a thing called the hot tag, right, Vlad? The art of the hot tag, which we don't see much nowadays, but they use that a lot. And he was trying to get to Axiom, really badly, because he needed to get out of this match. Although he did pull his weight, and in the end they did end up winning. And Axiom. Inside cradle on Miles Bourne. They were facing No Quarter Catch Crew, so they did end up. And the crowd popped for that, man. They were shocked. I thought it was a well-worked match, a really well-worked match, and Nathan Frazer looked fucked up by the end of it. So, big ups to Nathan Frazer, man. I don't know. I just want to give some praise to him. I thought he did great, and I think he's gonna make it. That's my conclusion from watching this match. I think there's a main roster spot for this guy as a worker, definitely. I don't know, his acting segments could maybe use some work. I don't know. I think they've been okay. They haven't been terrible. But, all right, so only me and Robert reviewed NXT Deadline. So I have some reviews I can pull up from our review today that Robert submitted. And Robert gave this one a thumbs up, so he liked it. And I gave it 2 thumbs up. So I thought it was the match of the week. I watched every fucking show this week, and I thought it was the best match that I saw. Really solid tag team match. So, Robert, I'll give you some time on the clock. If you have any thoughts on Nathan Frazer, let's have it.
All right. So, my thumbs up is pretty much just regarding the ring work, because I didn't really care so much about the angle. But I will give props to Nathan Frazer for pulling double duty. He did quite a lot on Deadline. He had to go through the Iron Survivor match and then the tag team match after that. So good on him. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's difficult to do, and he pulled through. But again, the thumbs up was mainly for the ring work, which is pretty good, and that was it.
All right, cool. All right, so we got some Nathan Frazer on the show. We'll keep an eye on him and see if he'll make it to the main roster. Vlad, I know I'm skipping you for this one. I don't want you to feel left out, but I don't know if there's anything you have to say about it. Although I will say that the hot tag is something that I see very rarely in wrestling nowadays, and especially done very well. And it's something that Jim Cornette talks about a lot. And I think if he watched this match, he would praise it. So that's my opinion. And if you don't have anything to say, I'm going to move on to AEW. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just going to say I don't know Nathan Frazer from Walt Frazier, but good.
I think you could tell them two apart. Walt Clyde Frazier, really? That's the Frazier you think of, the most famous. What about Joe Frazier?
Joe Frazier.
Joe Frazier. Sure.
Walt
That's
Frazier.
true. Well, I'm I'm more of a basketball guy, I guess. But no, okay, that's all I want to say was just a little joke. No, I don't have nothing to add to this because I didn't watch it and I don't really know these guys. But I have a hard time believing that Cornette would like this, given that the guy's tag team partner is some 100-pound luchador, masked hexagon, axiom, whatever the hell his name is. So no, I doubt that. But okay, let's move on.
All right. I did want to get that into my top 5 topics. I consider our top 5 topics of the day here very prestigious, and I thought that was good enough to make our top 5 topics. It's that time of the show for honorable mentions. We've done all the angles we're going to do today, and I'm just going to mention a couple that I thought was worth mentioning and having some time on our air today. Eric Bischoff, Vlad, what about that? You see him? Did you see his segment? You don't even watch NXT, huh?
I didn't really see it. I mean, I knew you told me he was going to be there, and I kind of saw a little bit of it, but I didn't really pay attention too much.
How about this NWO member?
Oh, yeah. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Anyway, so he mediated a segment between Trick Williams and Ridge Holland, which I thought was a good segment. Ridge Holland called Eric Bischoff a has-been podcaster. At least he's a has-been. I mean, shit, Ridge Holland's never been even, so I would rather be a has-been. But anyways, this was a good segment. It ended with a DDT onto the announce desk, and Ridge Holland does these amazing, like, what do you call them? Faces where he seems like he's just like in intense pleasure after he, destroys somebody.
Intense pleasure.
All right, well.
Intense pleasure. All right, what did me and Robert rated this segment? But we gave it a thumbs up. So both of us liked this. But they did have the match. They had that Ridge Holland Trick Williams match at the Deadline pay-per-view, and Trick Williams won. So I'll just mention that. I'm not gonna go over that one. I thought this was the better segment for me. I'm going to move on. So this is from NXT, guys. Not from Deadline, but from the actual NXT weekly show from Tuesday. So, Vlad, I want to get your opinion on this finish, if you think this was an interesting finish. So this was a last chance fatal four-way, they called it, for the last qualifier, last person to qualify for the women's Iron Survivor match. So, man, this was a stacked fucking match, Robert, for a bunch of losers bracket people like Jada Parker, Ren Sinclair, who's probably the weak link in this, but Kalani Jordan and Cora Jade. So here, let me skip to the finish of the match. Let's see if I could get to it. Sorry, I got a lot of pictures of Cora Jade. My bad. But okay, nice. So this is the end sequence. So Cora Jade's on the floor, and I think Kalani Jordan first with a 450 splash onto Cora Jade, and then on top of that, Jada Parker drops Ren Sinclair on Cora Jade as well. So Cora Jade is fucking dead. She's on the floor. She ain't getting up ever. So here's Kalani Jordan in the corner. Jada Parker's going to run across the ropes and try to put a move on her, but her rival, Lola Vice, who hates her, has just come on the apron, and she's going to try to back fist Jada Parker, and Jada Parker's going to duck, and she accidentally hits Ren Sinclair, who falls onto Cora Jade, and that's how she gets the win and becomes the last member of the Iron Survivor match. So I'll show a replay of it from a different angle. But Lola Vice and Jada Parker end up fighting off. But Kalani Jordan looks all stunned of what happened. But here it is again, Vlad, in slow motion. So here's Jada Parker. She's running. She thinks she's going to run into Kalani Jordan right here. But Lola Vice just pops up out of nowhere. And then here's the back fist. All right, here I am by myself. This is some bonus content. I recorded the show with Vlad and Robert. We almost got through all 10 of the angles I was trying to review. And then in the middle of the 9th angle, my computer, I don't know why it just froze and stopped recording. So Vlad gave some analysis on a finish of a NXT match that I really wanted his opinion on. So back fist onto trying to hit Jada Parker, but Ren Sinclair was standing right there, and she accidentally falls onto Cora Jade and wins the match. So Ren Sinclair is the winner. So Vlad gave his analysis of this. I'm going to try to remember what he said. He thought it was silly. He thought it was unrealistic and that it would never happen in real life, so he didn't really like it. But Robert said it reminded him of a lot of Shawn Michaels finishes. So I certainly see a lot of Shawn Michaels in this. I thought it was creative. I thought it was interesting. That's why I wanted it to be on the show today. But okay, and then let me just mention, because on the show today, we didn't cover the Jada Parker Lola Vice NXT Underground match that happened on NXT Deadline. But Jada Parker was pissed off that Lola Vice, ruined her chances to get into that Iron Survivor match. So basically, Ava booked them into NXT Underground. And I don't know, they felt the need to take the ring ropes apart just to show what it's going to look like when they fight. But that was a good match. I'm going to give that match praise. Although I won't really talk about it or play clips from it on the show, I thought it was a great match. This was the setup from NXT, but the match itself was won by Lola Vice. As far as the women's Iron Survivor match, that was won by Julia. So Julia won that match, in case anybody doesn't know. So she's the number one contender for the women's NXT title. So as for the men's Iron Survivor, so this was the 10th angle I was supposed to review, or 10th storyline I was supposed to review, and this was the men's Iron Survivor. Eddie Thorpe was seen basically beat up at the end of NXT, and for some reason this got cut off on my feed, so I didn't know this happened when I watched NXT Deadline. I did not know that Eddie Thorpe was out, so I didn't know Obafemi was going to take his place, which was a little messed up. I mean, for the other guys, didn't really seem fair that Obafemi was going to be the fifth guy to come in with, all the being fresh and all the other guys freaking fucked up already. Nathan Frazer, who we covered earlier in the night, who had to do a tag team title match later in the night. This was him taking a wicked powerbomb. And then Ethan Page also was a standout in this. He showed a lot of funny personality, and there was a moment where he had to get locked into the Iron Survivor box when they both got pinned with Obafemi, and here's him trying to escape. So this was pretty funny. Robert was laughing at this when we played it. And then Obafemi ended up winning. So he got 2 pinfalls at the same time, got him 2 points, and he ended up becoming the Iron Survivor. So my review of this. Well, a little bit more happened afterwards. There was Ethan Page was disappointed in himself after having such quick success in NXT earlier on. This is kind of a lull for him. He's struggling. And then Ava even mentioned, she was getting interviewed by Sarah Schreiber, and she mentioned that this was probably hard on the guys, and she acknowledged that it was weird, but it is what it is, and the result is what it is. Obafemi is the number one contender for the NXT Championship. So what did we rate this as? I think I have a rating from me and Robert. So me and Robert gave this thumbs up. So we both like this. I mean, I liked it more for the aftermath and for, the Ethan Page drama and I guess the Eddie Thorpe thing I don't mind, because that can turn into an angle too. So some good things came of it, although it just did seem really odd to me that Obafemi got such an easy spot. I think it was too obvious he was going to win once he came in as the last guy. So, all right, that was some bonus content for you guys. Sorry that we didn't have Vlad and Robert on this segment. We did record this review with them, and it didn't record. So I did it on my own, and I try to remember what they said as best as I can. But, all right, that'll do it for this edition of the Malapert Smark Podcast. We'll see you when we see ya.